Happiness and success are a choice, habit, and thought process, and therefore entirely in your control. If you don't have it, you're not doing it right. You're either missing a piece of it or you're still developing how good you are at it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how happiness and success are a choice in the now, and then I'm going to be talking about success type personalities and failure type personalities. So number one, happiness is always a choice in the now. Epictetus the philosopher once said, "Men are not disturbed by the things that happen, but by their opinion of the things that happen." I'm going to provide a story from an old Chinese proverb to illustrate this point. So in this proverb, there's an old Chinese farmer. He's just a normal guy, lives in his village, has his family and his cattle. One day, one of his prized horses runs away. Everyone from the village, because of how expensive and rare horses were, comes to him to apologize and tell him how sorry they are that he lost his horse. Now, when the farmer is met with all these apologies, etc., he tells them, "I don't know if it's such a bad thing. We'll see tomorrow." Now, the next day, the farmer's son comes riding home into the village on the horse. And once again, all the villagers come to him and say, "Hey, this is such a good thing. This is such good luck." And the farmer once again tells them, "I don't know. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow." Now, obviously, that's a little strange because if the horse is rare and expensive, he wants it back. But the next day, his son falls off the horse while riding it and breaks his back. Everyone from the village comes to the farmer again and says how sorry they are, pays their respects for the son that broke his back. And the farmer, with the same attitude as before, says, "I don't know how bad this is, we'll see tomorrow." The very next day, the army rolls into town and tells everybody that any man aged 25 or younger who is work ready is going to be recruited to go to war because they're going to war. The key thing I want you guys to keep in mind is the attitude of the farmer. He maintained the attitude of, "I'm not sure how bad or good this is, we'll see." And by doing that, he kept a greater control on his emotions. Now, you can use this same thing to your advantage by choosing one thing as good or bad. In the story, the farmer could have chosen that it was a good thing that his son came back with the horse. However, it turned out being a bad thing because his son broke his back. But that became a good thing because the army came in to recruit and his son could have died at war. So your opinion of what's happening is always the most important thing. And you can always find the silver lining or the positive side of anything that happens to you. For example, let's say you get fired at your job. Now, if this is the best job in the world, you're going to say, "Man, this sucks. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do." You'll kind of freak out. However, if it's a bad job and you hated it, then it's a good thing. Now I don't have to turn in my 2 weeks. I don't have to spend another minute there. I didn't have to do any of that. I'm just gone and it's great. So it's all about how you perceive things. Now, even if that was a really good job, you could perceive that as a new opportunity to find new things to do in life or for work. You can always choose to have a better outlook. The other thing that you need to realize is if you want to be happy, you need to have a worthwhile goal that you're striving towards. Humans are very goal striving. And to be happy, we cannot be stagnant. There has to be something we're looking forward to, getting closer to, and working on. Now, this leads me right into my second thing, which is the success personality. People with a success type personality, I'm going to describe as described in Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Each letter of the word success is going to have its own meaning. The first S in success stands for a sense of direction. Like I highlighted a second ago, humans need something to be striving towards, a direction to be moving in if they want to be mentally sound pretty much at all. This can be any goal, project, or cause that you see as worthwhile and get excited about. Now, the U in success stands for understanding. This means understanding of themselves and understanding of others. If you don't understand yourself, you might fall into areas where you can make bad choices, poor habits. And if you don't understand others, you're going to have a hard time being successful at all because people are very important in everyone's lives no matter what. Now, the first C in success stands for courage. Courage to do the right thing, courage to do the hard thing, courage to take a bet on yourself. With the second C standing for compassion. Once again, in life, people are very important, and if you can't show compassion towards them as part of your set of social skills, you're not going to do very well with people, and therefore your success could be stunted. You don't want to turn people off towards you because they can't get any sense of real human compassion out of you. Now, the E in success stands for esteem. This is your self-esteem, and if you've been watching my other videos, you'll know how important your self-image and your identity are. Your identity and your self-image tie directly to success because if you don't think you're worthy of something, you're never going to get it. And likewise, Your self-image and your identity determine your behaviors and determine your actions, which determine all the outcomes of your life. Now, the second to last S in success stands for self-confidence. Obviously, this is in there. Everybody knows that a lot of successful people have self-confidence, at least in one area to one extent. Now, the way you gain self-confidence is wins. Whether this be 7 wins of showing up to the gym every day that week and doing your workout, or even just making your bed in the morning, these wins stack up and eventually lead to self-confidence. Now, it's easy to forget wins, and that's where we get into a little bit of trouble, but if you can remember your wins frequently instead of your losses, you're more likely to be a lot more self-confident. For example, on this channel I have videos with varying amounts of views. If I was just focused on how many videos did poorly, then I wouldn't have very much self-confidence in continuing to upload, which will obviously affect my YouTube success. However, if I'm always looking at the videos where I did well, then I'll be able to learn from them, and I'll also be able to remember that I am capable of making a video that a lot of people will watch, that a lot of people will watch to the end, and that a lot of people will get value out of, which is obviously going to keep me moving forward to success. The last S is self-acceptance. Now, at first I had a hard time with this one because I personally don't like the community that's all about self-acceptance, because I find that there's a lack of accountability in that community. However, with the way Maxwell Maltz puts it, you need to be able to accept that you will never be perfect in order to embrace progress over perfection as a mindset. And that I certainly agree with. If you're always focused on perfection, you're going to be very black and white between imperfect and perfect, obviously. And with that way of thinking, knowing you're not perfect, you're less likely to take action and move. But if you're always focused on progress over perfection, you can always make progress somewhere, and that will get you a lot closer to success than what I mentioned before. All right, on to number 3, which is failure type personality. Same thing with success, each letter stands for something. Now, with a failure type personality individual, F stands for frustration. Frustration is hopelessness and futility when you haven't accomplished something you tried to or want to. And the reason this is so bad is because as an infant, when you were frustrated because you were hungry, you cried and got what you wanted, which was food. However, as an adult, this doesn't quite apply. As a baby, these desires were tended to by your parents, by someone outside of yourself. However, when you're an adult and you're frustrated, if you just sit in these feelings of frustration, you're never going to move anywhere because you expect someone like when you were a child to come and take care of it for you. Now, A in failure stands for aggressiveness. Aggressiveness is good if you're using it to move towards goals. However, if you are bottling it up, it's likely that it will come out at some point if you're not using it productively. So for example, if you hate your boss and you want to punch him in the nose, but instead you bottle that up and you take it home to your family, and now you snap at your kids and yell at them, or you kick the dog, that's obviously not productive at all. The I in failure stands for insecurity. Insecurity makes you weak, and it stifles the gifts you have to give to the world. It tells you, I'm not good enough, or I can't do X, so you don't even try. You are taking away from them because you are technically not giving to them because you don't think you're good enough. For example, if I was too insecure to start this channel and continually post, people that have gotten value out of my videos wouldn't have gotten the value out of my videos because they wouldn't have existed. And so insecurity is very selfish in my opinion. The L in failure stands for loneliness. Now, these individuals think that everybody needs to come to them, much like the frustration point I made with the infant. They're lonely because they aren't putting out the effort to connect with people, to make new friends, to strengthen friendships and relationships. They think everyone needs to come to them. They aren't realizing it's a two-way street with both sides reciprocating. The U stands for uncertainty. Obviously, failure types are uncertain, except instead of being like a success type and pushing forwards, failure types let uncertainty rule them and the fear control their actions. R in failure stands for resentment. People with resentment blame others instead of taking accountability and going from there. Obviously, people with a failure type personality are going to resent and blame other people instead of taking accountability, making adjustments, and moving forward with action. The E in failure stands for emptiness. People who are empty don't have a worthwhile goal they are striving towards, and so they feel empty. They feel like they're doing nothing. They have nothing that brings them joy. However, no matter how successful you are, if you have something that's worth working on to you, and you're continually working on it, you can't feel empty. In summary, happiness is your choice. Being a success type personality is a choice, and so is being a failure type personality. If you got value out of this video, please leave a comment and let me know. Helps me know what I should make videos about in the future. Also, if you found value, send this to a friend you think would benefit, and I will see you guys in the next one.